And then my final question is from Bridget, who would like to know which flea treatment to use for her dogs or for her cats. Because a problem here is that the vets don't always stock the ones that you want to use, but promote ones that they get a discount on, like Advocate. So what are your thoughts on this subject? Well, I'll start off by saying what we want our ideal flea treatment to do. We want it to kill fleas. We want it to persist for a known period of time. So to keep working as well as it did on day one for a known period of time. We want it to be non-toxic, easy to administer. We also want any flea treatment to cover any other parasites that may be present and may be a risk to your dog or your cat, and that's really going to depend on the geographical area that you live in, so where you live in the world, because there's going to be different parasite problems. And we also want to ideally to help reduce the environmental flea population, so that's reducing the eggs and larvae developing then into adults. So if we think about older products, kind of ones that have been around for a long period of time, and a lot of kind of pet shop and supermarket products are going to include these, not all of them by any stretch, but some of them, they either don't persist for the whole month or whatever the duration is said to be. So they might kill the fleas on day one, kind of when they're applied, and maybe have an action for the next few days, but actually they're not going to keep killing those fleas for that whole month. They might have a low safety index as well. Overdosing is easy, and actually in some cases the normal dose that we give is really verging on the toxic dose, and the interval that's given, so that month interval, is because if we apply it any more frequently to do a better job, we're actually going to really be getting into toxic levels. Some will have no action on the environment, so they won't help prevent the eggs and larvae from developing, and some are just really not very good at killing fleas. Maybe they were at one point, but their fleas are actually developing resistance to that. Now, if we move on to side effects and kind of safety, now all products which work will have a risk of side effects, so there's no getting away from that. Those risks are really low, and I can't stress that enough. And I've actually spoken before about Bravecto, NexGard and Simparica safety, because there was an FDA kind of reminder about the potential for neurological signs. So check that out in the previous episode. And also I've spoken about Revolution and allergic reactions to topical products as well. So, there are potential side effects. And then another side effect to know about is that really we should only apply cat products to cats. So never apply a dog product to your cat unless you've been specifically advised that that's okay by your vet, because some dog products are really very dangerous if given to cats. Now, there are so many products out there that do a very good job. I'm not going to give particular names because the names do change depending on which region you're in. And there's a lot of different ones that cover a whole range of different parasites that, again, change depending on where you are in the world. Now, like I said, we really want to make a decision based on local parasite risk and how well each product meets the requirements of the ideal flea treatment that I've just discussed. We also want to try and avoid doubling up of products with the same action. So, it might be that you're worming your pet with a certain thing and you only need to treat fleas. So you then don't need a flea product that also does worms if you're giving a separate tablet. In part, kind of the decision to stock different products by a vet is going to be based on what's safe, what meets all those ideal requirements, what is appropriate for the local parasite risk. But it's also a business decision as well, because ultimately vet surgeries need to make money to stay open, and so that's a reality. Now, if you're part of a big group of practices or a kind of a corporate group, you might be instructed to preferentially stock certain products. If your veterinarian is an independent veterinarian, they might be part of a buying group just to try and help reduce prices to remain competitive with their neighbouring practices, and they may get preferential terms on specific products. Now, the decision that's made with which one to buy is not going to be compromised by which product works well. You're not going to get a product that doesn't work being stocked by your vet, because ultimately that's going to really undermine their credibility, and they're going to lose clients as a result of that. We're not in the business of selling things that don't work and are no benefit or are really dangerous, but there is also a business risk there. There's just no way that a vet can stock everything on the shelf. So the other thing to say is, if you did have a specific product that you really wanted to try, then the vast majority of vets are going to be able to order something in for you specifically. That's generally not a problem. It might take a day or two or even a week to get that product in for you. But when when you're getting a box of 4 or a box of 3 treatments that's going to last a month, or a month for each treatment, it's not something that needs to be ordered in as an emergency. You just need to ring them up a couple of weeks before you need to have a new supply and get that ordered in for you. So that's really my thoughts around that. There are a lot of products out there, like I say, and which one is going to be most appropriate for you depends on your pet, depends on their lifestyle, and depends where you live in the world. So really just have a chat with your vet, and also kind of ask them to explain why they're recommending a certain product. It may be that actually that has additional benefits to the product that you're thinking of. So have that conversation as well. And it's not just your vet that you can speak to. You can speak to the nursing team or the reception team as well, because they often have very good training about parasite risks and which products work and which products are recommended.
You've been watching the Dr. Alex Answers video podcast. Remember to subscribe and head over to dralexanswers.com for any links, downloads, and get your question answered.